My mother was a cynical woman, smart as she was cruel. Nora, she said, no disease spreads faster or further than the ones in our head. She was talking about ideas. Mine was that old Kanga and his Wonder Boy would have been splayed out in some bio-trader's lab by now, or blood studies for the Grenier Command. Dreamers, I was wrong. Kanga's gray vein was just the beginning. White lung, parasitic liver, clone rot, even bone spurs. Turns out this kid, Arlo, is a healer. So many questions. An idea like that is like a flare dropped in Vol gas. Now the sick and curious are flocking the rails to see this emissary of Eris. And who speaks for Arlo the Mute? Why, old Kanga, of course. No more the outcast. It is he who is spreading the word of Arlo's gift. Even you, dreamers, may soon hear it.
Hey, what's up, my vibrant little guavas? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today we are back with another installment of the Weekly Nightwave, the series where we take a look at this week's acts and find the most efficient or entertaining way to take them on. In addition to that, we are going to have a light review of the Convectrix because, of course, we got the Efficient Beams Augment, so we're going to go ahead and take that into the Simulacrum. And, of course, we cannot forget our Warframe of the Week, which, to be honest with you, is going to be less a Warframe and more a theme, but we'll touch on that when we jump into it. Now, of course, I wanted to go ahead and address Act 2 of the Nightwave cinematics. I'm just saying that I think the way that this is going to play out is that the old man is going to manipulate the voice of the child, and then the child is going to lash out and get angry, and he's going to kill him, and then he's going to kill the rest of us. I'm just saying he is a little demon child, so old man, please don't piss the demon child off. In addition to that, in last week's video when I had mentioned the fact that Arlo's neck is not attached to his body, look, I'm getting that shook over this subject. It's hitting me in my soul because apparently some of the vent kids' heads are also not attached to their bodies. They're all demons. Get your shotguns. They're all fucking demons. Just letting you know. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into these missions. So, first one, and I think I got robbed of this because I'd been using a magnetic beam weapon earlier. This is a daily, and this is killing 150 enemies with magnetic damage. Moving along, we also have Shiny, which is pick up 8 mods. Then we have Earth Bounty Hunter. This is the start of the weeklies. We have 5 different bounties on the plains of Eidolon. Now, I do want to go ahead and give this one a shot because of the fact that I'm not sure, like, we can't run the same ones over and over again. We actually have to wait for them to either turn over or maybe get a couple new ones. Maybe we'll have to wait for a different day. Let me know if you guys know that down in the comments below because I haven't given it a shot yet, but that might be helpful to somebody else. We also have Invader, complete 9 invasion missions of any type. I'm gonna puke because that's 9 missions for 450 points. We also have Operative, which is complete 3 spy missions. Notice, complete 3 missions versus complete 9 missions. I'm just putting that out there into the universe. There seems to be a little discrepancy. We also have Protector, which is complete 3 mobile defense missions. 3, not 9. Putting that out there. We also have Test Subject, complete 8 zones of Sanctuary Onslaught. Now, I always thought that this had to be done in one shot, but apparently you could just do one and that counts. We have Night Terror, complete 10 nightmare missions of any type, which is going to be very handy when tied into the rest of them. And then we always have 1 Kill Profit Taker. So, let's go ahead and take a look at how all of this pans out. What I've actually been doing is looking at the different nightmare missions and seeing if any of them are either mobile defenses or spies, because those will count as like a double. So you can get your nightmare missions knocked out as well as your spy and your mobile defenses. Same thing goes for your invasion missions. Now, of course, you can see if there are any capture invasion missions out there or exterminate ones to make this one go a little bit faster, and then everything else basically falls into place. The only one that kind of stands out on its own is going to be Kill the Profit Taker, and you know what? That's a nice little revisit because I haven't done that in quite a while, so I'm going to be jumping in. In addition, we have the complete 8 zones of Sanctuary Onslaught, which is easy peasy. I usually just end up doing that in one shot. So with that all out of the way, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of the theme earlier. Do I want to do it? Just do it now. Let's just do it now. So while I technically don't have a Warframe of the week, I do, because I've been revisiting Loki. That's kind of my Warframe of the week, but it's more along the themes of the Infested. So I want you guys down in the comments below to let me know your favorite, like, Infested Tenogen skin, or maybe your Infested themed Warframe, like maybe a Saren or something. I know Nidus kind of fits the theme, and can I point out one thing? Because, listen, I love the Nidus Tenogen that was released, and you guys know that I rock that one pretty heavily. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I think that it totally fits the Infested theme. Let's look at it in its glory real quick. Really, really fucking pretty. This is the Night Hunter skin by, is it Walrus or MZ3? Actually, that's completely different. He's the guy that is doing the Loki skin that I'm, like, jizzing all over. But let's not forget that the Nidus Frike skin exists, because I know that some people are gonna be like, how could you forget that that exists? I forgot that it existed, okay? And then I was looking through SANDR and I was like, oh my god, it's absolutely gorgeous. So maybe, you know, go ahead and give that one a little bit of a revisit when we're talking about our theme of an Infested loadout. Now, of course, I've been replaying Loki, and I kind of want to cover maybe the build and, like, the setup in a completely different video, so we're going to leave that for that. But I've also been using the Pox. Revisit that one, and then if you guys have not seen it already, I've covered this in many videos, but I do have a Infested themed, what is it called, Zaw, that a lot of people ask me about, so that's the build for it right there, just in case you guys want to give that one a shot. But that is going to be the Infested melee. Another Infested melee that I would highly suggest is the Mios. Love that one a whole lot. There's also the Haruto, and then, oh, right there, Haruto. And then what is the other one that I'm thinking of in my head? Because it is a stick, the Legion. The motherfucking Legion. Those are the ones that I would highly suggest you guys go and, like, revisit, get back into that infestation theme, because we are about to go ahead and get the new ephemera, the peeing infestation ephemera, which really is bothersome. And then, of course, like, my favorite main weapon from the Infested is definitely going to be the Hema. Actually, I think we could type Infested. And then we have the, oh, it doesn't show up the Hema? What? The Hema's totally Infested. I like the Parasis too. The Parasis and the Mutilus Quanta are both fairly solid weapons, but Hema is definitely my baby of all Infested babies. But we are going to keep the Convectrix slotted in. So that is going to be my setup. That's going to be my suggestion for you guys. And in addition, the other one is to just go check out an old Warframe that you haven't played in a long time. I was gonna say try out the Tysis, but really the Pox. Just go with the Pox. The Pox is Pox and where is it? The, oh my god, it's the dual ones that I fucking love, that you have to get the headshot on to get really sexy. It's the oh my god, Dual Toxicist. Dual Toxicist 2. Get your hands on the Dual Toxicist and play around with that. Let me know what your Infested setup is in the comments below, and just get all aboard the Infested theme. But let's go ahead and toss it out to the Convectrix real quick, because we do have that augment to cover. Alrighty, so for those of you guys who have not seen my original review on the Convectrix, you can pick this one up from the Corpus Lab of your clan dojo, or you can always pick it up pre-built along with the weapon slot and catalyst somewhere in the market for plat, blah 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 blah. You know how it goes. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this stacks up on paper. So when its twin lasers converge on a target, a circuit is created, frying the subject. You'll fry the subject no matter what. The laser beams are out there, and we just basically call this the Corpus Energy Scissors, alright? It's got a good accuracy sitting at 50. Its critical chance is kind of low at 16%, but it does have a nice chunky critical multiplier of 2.4 times. Also, be aware that this does have built-in punch through, and it has a status chance of 30%, which is quite nice because its main damage type is slash. Now, this does have some unique mechanics that's attached to it. So just firing it normally, as you can see, creates like a scissor-like beam. It's like separate at first and then goes boom, it closes together. However, you can use your secondary fire to kind of create this sweeping beam. So you see how it kind of opens and then it closes, opens and closes. So that's how this basically works. It's basically the Corpus Scissor lasers. Now, in addition to that, I wanted to go ahead and show off the augment that we're going to be using for it. So as you guys can see right here, we have efficient beams, and this one will only consume ammo when dealing damage, which is very, very nice. And it's also got a 150% status chance added to it. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this baby performs. One of the things that was definitely a pet peeve for me was previous to this, when you would shoot the beams, right? You would waste all that ammo to get it to close. And that kind of like, I'm like, all right, this is already not the most ammo efficient weapon out there. And especially if you're doing this, that's not ammo efficient at all. But if you take a look at the bottom right corner, yes, I don't know my right from left. But if you take a look at it, you'll notice that we're not using any ammo until we're actually hitting the target. And as you can see right here, it's actually doing a decent job of taking down a Billy. I was testing out a bunch of different builds earlier, and I actually put another Forma into this one just to, you know, have some space to toy around with some things. And the current setup that I have is probably the one that I like the best, which is going to be using Blaze and Viral, and kind of capitalizes on the slash status chance. However, there is one thing that I really do want to point out with this baby, is legitimately its Riven disposition is like ridiculously high. So if you take a look at it, oh, you can't even see it. You can't even see the Riven disposition. It's got a really good Riven disposition because nobody uses this thing. And I've been tweeted so many Rivens for this Convectrix, and I was like, ooh, that's gonna be juicy. Especially if this efficient beams works out really well. Now, let's take a quick look at this real fast. You can see that I am using Prime Point Blank. This is all really basic. This uses shotgun mods, by the way, for those of you guys who didn't notice straight out the gate. So we've got all of the standard stuff, but I also went ahead and put in the critical chance and critical damage, because it does bring it to a 30% critical chance, and for something with a fire rate of 12, that's not bad, especially when you have a high critical multiplier, and then pair that with a little bit of slash damage. I'm just saying. It's a thing. We're also using 2 status elemental mods and also efficient beams, and that actually brings us up to that 100% status chance, which is very, very nice, because then every tick we go ahead and we get the status, right? And then I went ahead and tossed on Blaze. Initially, I actually went ahead and swapped this out for Sweeping Serration, and to be honest with you, when I was playing with it, it was basically the same thing. Like, they performed very, very similarly. So for me, I'm like, either one of those is going to be 100% fine and dandy. Now, of course, I always test this out with a couple of different elements. I've also put corrosive on this as well, and I felt like it performed a little bit behind this. Not that far behind. I want to say maybe 10 more points of ammo in order to take down a 150 Billy, or 165 Billy. Sorry, I forgot numbers for a second. Like I said, bad. That's why I just shoot things. So from my perspective, I feel like this is the best setup. However, really the best setup is if you can get a really, really juicy Riven for this, maybe to sub in one of these status elemental ones and still make your status, or maybe sub out this Blaze one, because you could get some good numbers off of that. But highly, highly recommend. Also, one of the reasons why I tossed Blaze on this is because of the fact that you can pair this with Condition Overload. Because if you're hitting multiple enemies at once with that sweep, right? If you hit that sweep and you're hitting multiple enemies at once, you can go ahead and slide in and kind of take advantage of all of that Condition Overload goodness. So definitely be sure to go ahead and give that a little bit of a shot and play around with that, because it can be quite sexy if that's what you're trying to achieve with it. Also, one of the things that I want to point out, because of the fact that this is a shotgun, you can go ahead and use the shotgun skin from the Nyx Prime setup. So all in all, for me, the Convectrix, even with the efficient beams, is kind of meh. Really, it's going to rely on a Riven, and I never really like to judge a weapon based on whether a Riven is going to be the best ever, but I also didn't want to ignore the fact that the disposition was so good that if you did have one for it, it could be quite good. Regardless, that about does it for me for now for this week. Let me know how you guys feel about everything. Toss your favorites infested setups down in the comments below. Not infested setups against the infested, but to like join the infested, because that's what Arlo's gonna do to us after the old man, you know, really messes with his head and turns him into the big infested void demon that we all expect him to be. I'm just saying. Also, people have mentioned the fact that when you die, the people from Arlo's thing actually help revive you. I don't die, so I haven't seen it yet. But for those of you guys who have, thank you for letting me know. So that about does it for me for now. So as always, my little guavas, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.